welcome back. In this video, we want to talk about a question that we have gotten from several people now. And it comes from when you're working with spiritual energies, what protections are adequate, what do you use, how do you use it, and things of that nature. So, Sterling, if you could enlighten us a bit on spiritual protection.
Sure, I actually do workshops on these. So I brought my worksheets that I give out to students when we're doing these. We'll just go through each point one by one. I break it into three parts: beginning, intermediate, and advanced protection. There is not one particular way that you need to do it, or one method that you should do. Each of these methods work to a certain degree. Okay? If you're somebody who is just praying, you're not actively going out working a lot of energy, you're doing things of that nature, some of the beginning stuff will be fine for you. Okay? And it works quite well, and you can use it for different things. The first one we'll talk about is ritual bathing. Okay? Ritual bathing, it's as easy as it sounds. It's just taking a bath. A lot of people will incorporate colors through candles for the work, and please remember, that is not a balanced out fire energy. Unless you're just using the water itself as liquid, and then you're putting sand in it for dirt, okay, and then you're just using the air surrounding you as air. I mean, you can do it that way, and that's balanced. However, if you're not, if you're putting like an essential oil or some herbs into the bath with you, then you're creating a higher level of air energy. You're going to need an animal totem energy to work with. You're going to need a metal energy to work with. You're going to need a crystal stone energy to work with. So, but the ritual bathing itself is you're immersing yourself in water to cleanse out all negativity within you, all negative energy. It does not do much for dark connections at all. It will not get rid of them. It won't do anything to them. Okay. If anything, you might end up feeding them if you have them.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not a good one to do if you know that you've got something wicked going on. It's not nearly potent enough for it. For empowerment, it's not a bad one for empowerment because essentially the water is going to, it saturates you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, and you can even go through some exercises that we call pore breathing for it, where you open your pores up and you allow the water to come in, and anything that's in the water, so if you've infused energies into the water, they will infuse into your body. It's much better for empowerment than it is for protection. Okay, but you're not going to empower celestial energies this way. What you're going to empower is going to be the attributes of the element, the things that you've broken the elements down into. Okay. Those individual attributes. So if you're using sage, it would be the attributes of sage if you put that in the water. If you've got silver that you're incorporating, it'll be the attributes of silver in the water. Same thing with the animal totem, the crystal, and the rock. Those energies will infuse into you. Okay. And you'll be able to sense them and use them. Okay. But it's not going to do a whole lot for protection. Okay. It can for cleansing and things of that nature because then those energies will go into the stone and will go into the metal. Those things will take them, okay, because it's easy to do those, okay. But again, it's not the greatest protection ritual, but it is a nice meditative ritual to do, okay. But there are people that do use it for protection, and it's not the greatest, okay. Immersing oneself in flowing water. This can work. It's not very practical unless you have a river behind you or something of that nature, because it needs to be a continually streaming flow of water that goes through. Okay. That doesn't really protect you. What it does is it cleanses anything negative on you out and away. The longer you stay in it, the more that works. Okay.
Okay.
So it's, I guess you could say that it's protective. However, as soon as you get out of the water, the protection is gone. It's nothing that lasts. Okay. The cleanse will last. But if you have a dark connection, it's not going to break that connection. It's not going to stop it. It'll probably make it feel better. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a horrible wound. It might feel a little better, but within a few minutes, the effects are going to fade.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, enter basic psychic level. Point and snap fingers at the energy. While snapping, say shrink, and the energy will disappear. It's never worked for me ever. I've had a couple of students that say that it's worked a bit for them, but it didn't last again. They snapped it away, and within a few hours it came right back. One of them was a few days. So if you
Okay.
need something that real quick, you're around a bunch of people, and you can't go through some advanced ritual, snapping at it might get you to a point where you can actually do something better later. Okay. Okay, psychic shield. Visualize your body being surrounded by a bright, powerful, positive charge, white light. Say to yourself, this light will repel all negative energies from programming my mind. This light will allow only positive energy to program my mind. This protective shield will be with me always from now on. Okay. From now on, I will always be keenly aware of my negative thoughts. I will mentally cancel my negative thoughts by mentally or verbally saying, no, I do not want these thoughts. So, does this work? It does. For negative thoughts. Again, it usually doesn't last. Okay. The programming that you're doing for the psychic shield is something that you could do through what we call the fundamental exercises, and that's something that'll be in a different
Video.
yeah. When we talk about bringing in the white light for protection, it does work, again, at a beginning level, okay? If you're going into a haunted house, things of that nature, it usually doesn't work real well. Most people I know that haven't done essentially spiritual geometry, that go into haunted places, especially if it's a dark, like a demonic energy, it has never worked. I've always had to go over and end up banishing people that went with me that did that for protection when they went. Because whatever was there connected to them, it was not enough. Okay? And I'm not saying that it's not the energy, the light energy coming in. It's usually because it wasn't applied correctly. Okay? And that's one thing that, like when we do like the geometric shapes, that's what the geometric shapes are for. They call it incorrectly because we know it through geometry that that's the proper way to call it in. Just calling it through is asking a lot of yourself, especially with a visualization, to figure out how this needs to work when most people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
Okay, move to a different place, leaving everything behind. That works if the place you're in is, or something in the place has got the attachment to it. If the attachment's to you, it doesn't work at all. So you could try it, and then at least you'll know. However, if it's a house and you sell the house, that's not a real good thing to do to the people that just bought your house. Because essentially you're setting them up for what you're running away from. Okay? Not to mention that that'll bring horrible karma to you for doing it in the first place. The best thing to do is to find somebody who gets rid of those things, somebody who can do banishments, exorcisms, whatever your belief system may be, to come in and do it. Okay? If you're having troubles, keep going to people until you find somebody who can do it. Just because a few people fail at it or it didn't work does not mean it can't be gotten rid of. Okay? Find somebody who does banishments. Okay, if an exorcism doesn't work. There's a complete difference between the two. A banisher comes in, generally uses angelic energy, graceful angelic energy, to banish fallen energy out. Okay? Exorcisms, the priest relies on the faith of the person that they're exorcising to banish the negative demon out. Okay? Well, a lot of the times, the faith of the person has been compromised. That's how the demon got in. So for the ones that don't work, you need to find a banishment because it doesn't rely on you at all.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? It relies on the angels. That war's been fought, essentially. Everybody knows who won. I never had one that didn't work. However, I've had people that have gone out and reconnected for different reasons. Because of codependency, there's a codependent relationship that works when you have a connection like that. The longer it's been there, the harder it is to tell the difference between it and you. Okay. Others, it's for attention, especially with children, because when they had it, they were the center of attention all the time. And a lot of times, once it's gone, everything goes back to normal, and they don't feel special like that anymore. And they'll come back and reconnect. Not to mention that they are very devious, and they try to get back in as soon as they can. So if you have somebody that comes over and just does cord cutting, those are like tentacles flailing around ready to reattach. You need to have somebody that comes in, cuts the cords, and burns them back to the source, and then cauterizes it, so I can't find them again. So that's, again, difference between banishment and exorcism. Okay, smudging. Smudging can work. Okay, you don't have to use sage. Most people do, but you don't have to do it. It clears out negative energy. Okay, against demonics, it does nothing unless you have celestial energy working with it. Okay, if you're programming it with powerful angelic energy from the correct directions, from the correct hierarchies, it'll work. If you're just going in and smudging a room, demons are going to go, sage, I love sage, because they know how it works. They're essentially the ones that, if you go back, they're the ones that taught men how to use it in the first place. They've been around long enough to know what the effects are, what the attributes are, and how to make it work to their advantage. So if you're having a demonic issue, no. Okay, burning a black candle. It's never worked for me. It just hasn't. I've tried it. It hasn't worked for me. And again, it's low-level energy. You'd be better off trying an animal totem. Okay. Casting a circle. Yeah, but you need to know how to cast one. Just drawing a circle on the ground isn't going to do it. Even if it's salt. If you do a salt circle, it's going to be like putting salt on your window sills. It'll keep out pixies, nasty nature spirits, but for really dark things, they cross it. Again, unless you are utilizing it in a ritual where you're pulling in graceful celestial energy along with it. Okay. Broom sweeping, the energy out of the premises. Doesn't work. Yeah, it does. It works, again, for negative stuff, negative energy, but for dark entities, no. For demonics, no. And doing the sweeping also, it's like kicking everybody out of your house and not locking your doors.
Okay.
They're coming right back in within a couple of days, a week, whatever. It might feel really good for, a couple hours or so, but it won't last unless you put up a grid. Okay, and if you understand how to put up a grid, you're probably not going to be sweeping the energy out anyway. You're going to be doing like a superior banishment ritual where you're creating a pyramid with tons of celestial energies and then gridding it to the foundation of a house so that it stays there and never leaves. Okay, and you grid it with like citrine or kyanite, because those two never have to be cleaned themselves. All other stones have to be cleaned. Okay, now that's beginning protection. Okay, for just low level kind of stuff. And yeah, those things will work for a lot of things, but for the really nasty ones, they won't. Intermediate, okay, creating an etheric shield. Creating an etheric shield, yes. Okay, that does work. Okay, that works for spirits, that works for ghosts. Okay, that works for people directing negative energy at you. Okay, dark practitioners, people. Demonics, no. It will not work well on a demonic. It can work out well on low-level minions, but for the really nasty, dark ones, no. Okay, doing a dispelling of unwanted magic, yes, that can work, depending on how powerful the spell was that was cast at you. If it's for spell breaking, and especially that's what dispelling unwanted magic is for. Okay, it can also be for people that are sending out unintentional negative energy toward you. Dispelling that will work too. Okay. The lower banishing ritual of pentagram. Yes, that works. That works. The problem is it doesn't follow you. You can't leave the area that you've cast it in.
Okay.
That's like casting a circle. Okay. But you're using geometric shapes when you're doing it. Okay. connecting elemental and angelic energy around it. The problem is it's two-dimensional. Okay, when you break the circle, it's over. The circle's gone. Okay, it does work well. Let's say if you're home, if you cast one around your home, yeah, it's great until you leave your home, and you come back and you do another one. Okay, so they do work. The Kabbalistic cross isn't actually for protection for the most part. It is essentially the end of the Lord's Prayer. That's what it means when you do all of the names of God that you're calling in. Okay. However, it's the way you begin the lower banishing rituals.
Okay.
And most any ritual that you do. Okay. And it does mean the end of the Lord's Prayer. Your kingdom, power, glory forever, amen. Okay. But it's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's protect me above, below, front, back, left, and right. And it's just giving direction as to what you're about to do and how it's going to work. Because again, when you're doing like the LBRP, you are doing it's two-dimensional. So two-dimensional, it's this way. But with the Kabbalistic cross in the beginning, it's telling you it's not just that way, it's this way, it's this way, it's that way, it's underneath, it's everywhere, around you, surrounding you. Okay?
Okay.
All right, empowering a charm for protection. Does it work? Yes, but you have to keep it on.
Right. Okay.
And it works wonderful for kids because kids can't do the other stuff, or
Mm.
they won't do the other stuff. They're children. They're going to forget. They're going to not do it. But if you can keep something on them that they'll wear all the time, sure. The only time they don't wear it is in the shower or in the bath. As soon as they get out, they put it back on. They're good to go. Yes, they do work. They do have to be cleaned. Jars are programmed every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on what they're made out of. Okay? As to how often it needs to be done. Okay? And when you're doing that, all you have to do is sit them in a room, do LBRP, clean them, do it while they're going to bed, just clean them on well, you don't have to recharge them or program them to tune them, you just have to clean them. You just set them on a crystal cluster, let them clean for 12 hours while the kid's sleeping, or 8 hours while the kid's sleeping. When the kid gets up, it'll be clean, put it back on, they're good to go. Nobody broke the circle, they were protected all night.
Okay.
All right, what else do we have here? Okay, wearing or carrying certain crystals or stones and metals. They can make you feel better, but they don't really protect you unless you do the same thing that I was just talking about, making them into a charm. And then it's the same thing as a charm. Cord cutting, releasement or pulling. Okay, yeah, but again, you have to burn them all the way back. Okay, and that stops the connection that they had. It doesn't stop them from being connected by something else. Okay, so it's a good thing. A lot of healers do it when they're done healing. They do a cord cutting. Great. Like I said, some of them burn it all the way back. It's a great healing, good, got to go. But that individual who had the healing done on them should probably learn some protection themselves. But not everybody's going to want to do it.
Right.
So if you're doing a healing thing, yes, go ahead and do it. If you're doing a banishment, no. No, that's not going to do much at all. You have to banish it first, then cut the cord.
Right.
Otherwise, it's going to be what was that cartoon, Hercules? When the three Stygian witches were
Yeah.
cut his cord, and then all of a sudden their scissors broke.
Yep.
Same thing. It's not going to be able to cut it. If you have that, if a demonic being is what's connected, you're not cutting through. You're not going to cut that. Reiki's not going to do that. Okay. What do we have? Creating elixirs, sachets, or potions. Yeah, I know you're talking about alchemy. Yeah. But again, what's in it? How was it created? And again, you're going to need celestial influence in the script when you're in the creation of it for it to work the way that you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those things, though, wear off. They don't last.
Okay.
The Rose Cross Ritual. I mentioned that because it's in a lot of books. The Rose Cross Ritual is really just a way to veil your own energy. If you don't want, like if you're going to a paranormal investigation and you've pulled in just this massive amount of potent, graceful energy, and you don't want the things to know that you've done it, because a lot of times it cuts down on anything that's going to happen, or things, if they can create portals, portal out before you get there. That's a good way to disguise yourself. They'll still feel a little bit, but it won't be nearly as potent as it is. And you can go in to get the activity levels up, to figure out exactly what you're dealing with before you come out and be like, okay, this is what's happening now. I think I talked to you about this earlier. It's like when Gandalf went into the king and he was Gandalf the White, but he was dressed in a gray cloak.
Right.
And then throws his gray cloak off and goes, ha ha ha. It's kind of the same thing. The rose cloth would pin the cloak on top. And that's what it does. So it's not actually a protection ritual, so to speak. Okay?
Okay.
And then the last thing for intermediate is elemental energetic focus manipulation. Involves knowledge of how all the elements express themselves regarding protection. Fire consumes, air disperses, water dissolves, earth contains. These forms of protection can take many hours of practice. The beginner will find wands and staffs quite useful to focus the energies. These do work, but again, you need celestial things to back them up, and they utilize geometry. If you're just doing this on its own with elements, it's good for natural issues. It'll work on ghosts, spirits. It'll work on nature, spirits of any kind. Those type of things, yes. Negative energies from other people, yes, they do work. Okay, so advanced protection. For intentional black magic, working through celestial influences, demons, etc. Severe evocation ritual of the pentagram. Yes, that works well. Okay, it's not really, that one's not for protection, that's empowering. But you do it right after you do the superior banishment ritual of the pentagrams. Okay, the superiors do not give you a two-dimensional, like the lower banishments do. They utilize 3, bringing in cardinal fixed immutable energy, and they create pyramids around you. Instead of a circle, it's a sphere, and it goes with you. You only have to do it one time a day, and it follows you everywhere you go. Okay, and part of it protects you, the other part will empower you. And again, that's not one pyramid, that'll be 2 pyramids, and that'll be, you start getting into creating the platonic solids around you. So if you're going to do a cube, that's 6 pyramids. That's a whole lot of celestial energy, because each of them are going to have 3 angels for each side connected to it. So you're talking about 48 for a cube. That's a lot of energy.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Advanced elemental energetic focus manipulation. This involves knowledge of how elemental energies express themselves in regard to protect. Well, we already went through this. And again, those things do work. However, you're talking about energy crafting at that point. You're talking about focus bursts through specific tools. Okay. Every practitioner I know that can do these things also do the superiors. So that's more of attack.
Okay.
And if you're fighting somebody at the same, I mean, it's the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
So that's more for way advanced practitioners that, it's like Darth Vader fighting Obi-Wan. I mean, that's what you're looking at, except no lightsabers. Same kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. I hope that was helpful to everybody. Again, protection is important. It is one of the most important parts of doing any kind of spiritual work at all. It is difficult to tell in the beginning, even when you're advanced, the good ones from the bad ones that are out there, because the dark ones act like light ones.
Yes.
Okay. That's why Ouija boards are so bad. Ouija boards will not protect you. All they do is open portals. And it's like picking up a pay telephone and calling a pay telephone in New York City. Hello. Or dialing a number on your cell phone you've never dialed before. And saying, hey, is this Michael on the other end? Yeah, this is Michael. What do you want? Problem being, when you connect with those dark energies, the first thing they do is they hijack all of the graceful connections that you have and replace them with their own nasty stuff. And then it's like, you go to pray to Michael, that connection to Michael's gone. You killed it when you connected to the dark thing in the first place.
Okay.
Now you have to go through a lot to get those connections back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. and it's hard to know when you did or when you didn't. Oh yeah, whatever you just did worked. I'm the real Michael now, and it's not. Okay? That's when you need to go to somebody who can do it
Right.
and blast it out, and then start working a program. Okay? It's very important to do that when you're talking about protection. Okay? But that's the worksheet. I hope that was helpful to anybody out there that needed it.
Very enlightening, very enlightening. All right, well, thanks for joining us, and do remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.